Hello po sa inyo and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll present to you one of the most essential learning competencies from grade 7. And that is expressing rational numbers from decimal form to fraction form. And in our discussion, we will be focusing on repeating decimals. Meron kasi tayong tatlong types ng decimals. And among these three types of decimals, isa na dyan ang repeating decimals. And repeating decimals are considered rational numbers. Why? Because repeating decimals can be expressed as ratio of two numbers. Or in other words, repeating decimals can be changed into fractions. Actually, the usual way of expressing repeating decimal as fraction is making use of equations. So, ginagamitan ng mga equations. But in this video, share ko sa inyo yung pinaka-shortcut way or yung somewhat tricks na pinakamabilis na paraan how to change repeating decimal into fraction. But before that, meron tayong dalawang cases. So, unang case natin is without non-repeated. By the way, pag sinabi nating repeated, ito yung digit na nagre-repeat in a repeating decimal. So, pag sinabi naman nating non-repeated, ito yung digit na hindi nagre-repeat. So, in other words, pag sinabi nating without non-repeated, ibig sabihin, lahat ng digits natin na given in the repeating decimal ay mga nagre-repeat. So, wala siyang digit na hindi nagre-repeat. Okay? So, let's start with the first example. So, suppose we have here 0.888 and so on and so forth. So, ito pong nakikita niyong tatlong dots dito. Ang tawag po dyan ay ellipsis. So, ang ellipsis po ay ginagamit in a repeating decimals to indicate that it's continuous. So, walang katapusan yan. Pero paulit-ulit lang siyang 88. So, in other words, in our example here, ang 8, yun ang ating repeating digit. So, that is the repeated po. And there is another way of writing this repeating decimal. So, we can write this as 0.8. So, instead na isusulat natin ng tatlong beses yan and using the ellipsis, isang beses na lang natin isusulat yung repeated. And we are going to use a bar over that repeating digit. At yung bar na yan, ang tawag natin dyan ay vinculum. So, ang vinculum is used to indicate that the digit is a repeated or a repeating digit. So, umpisa na natin. Paano ba natin i-express ito as fraction? So, ito yung pinakamabilis na solusyon. Okay, definitely, since express natin ang 0.888 and so on and so forth as fraction, so, meron tayong numerator and denominator. So, madali lang to. Ang pinaka-numerator ninyo, yun ng mismong repeating digit. That is 8. So, therefore, our numerator is 8. And the denominator is 9. So, yun yung tricks. Bakit 9? Kasi, isang digit lang ang nagre-repeat. So, tandaan ninyo ha, pag isang digit lang ang nagre-repeat, ang denominator is always 9. So, ulitin natin. So, paano nakuha itong fraction na to? So, yung pinaka-numerator, yung mismong repeating digit. So, 8. Over, since only one digit repeated, so our denominator is 9. And of course, this fraction must be reduced to lowest term. But I think yung 8 over 9 is no longer or cannot be reduced anymore to lowest term. Bakit? Kasi yung 8 and 9 are relatively primes. Pag sinabi nating relatively primes, their only GCF is 1. So, pwede nating i-check kung tama ba itong fraction na nakuha natin. So, paanong gagawin natin para ma-check yan? I-reverse natin yung process. So, anong ibig sabihin? Express natin itong 8 over 9 into decimal. And let us see if we will get this 0.88 and so on and so forth as repeating decimal. Okay, let's do the checking. So, let's check. So, again, what are we going to do? Divide natin si 8 by 9. So, numerator divided by the denominator. Now, since si 8 is less than 9, mas maliit siya, so automatic ang ating quotient is 0. So, you multiply the 0 times 9, the answer is 0. Subtract, so we have 8 minus 0 is 8. Now, to continue dividing, you add decimal point here, align that in the quotient, and then you add 0 here, and bring down that 0. So, ang new dividend ngayon natin is 80. So, divide it by 9. So, 80 divided by 9 is 8. Then, multiply. 8 times 9 is 72. Subtract 80 minus 72. The answer is 8. Anong napansin nyo? Bumalik tayo sa 8. So, if we continue the process, add 0 here, bring down that 0, again, 80 na naman siya. So, pag dinivide nyo yung 80 by 9, again, it's 8. So, 8 times 9 is 72. If you subtract it, the answer is still 8. So, in other words, kung titingnan nyo, pag itutuloy lang natin yan, dagdag tayo ng 0 dito, bring down natin, 80 na naman siya. So, 8 na naman ang magiging quotient. So, anong ibig sabihin? Ulit-ulit lang siya. So, what does it mean? Si 8 over 9 is really the equivalent fraction of 0.888 and so on and so forth. Now, let's have another example. Suppose we have here 0.6666 and so on and so forth. Now, makikita ninyo, kahit apat yung ating digits here, 6666, pero isa lang din ang repeating digit dyan kasi nga, paulit-ulit lang siya. So, if we write it using vinculum, so this can be written 0.6 and we have the vinculum. Okay, how are we going to express it as a fraction? Let us see. Sundan natin yung ginawa natin kanina. So, what will be our numerator? Yung mismong repeating digit, 6. So, this will become 6. So, our numerator is 6. And our denominator is 9 pa rin. Bakit 9? Kasi isa lang din ang ating repeating digit. So, ang tricks, pag isang repeating digit, in a repeating decimal, the denominator is always 9. But, unlike with 8 over 9, si 6 over 9 can be reduced to lowest term. So, ang gagawin natin, i-reduce natin sa lowest term si 6 over 9 by dividing 6 and 9 by their GCF. Ano ang pinaka-GCF ni 6 and 9? That is 3. Therefore, divide natin si 6 by 3. The answer is 2. Over, divide natin si 9 by 3. Ang sagot ay 3. And 2/3 is our final fraction. So, pwede rin natin i-check yan, gaya ng ginawa natin kanina. Divide lang natin si 2 by 3. So, let's do the checking. So, 2 divided by 3. Again, 2 is less than 3. So, that is 0. Then, 0 times 3 is 0. Subtract. 2 minus 0 is 2. And then, continue dividing. Add decimal point here. Another decimal point. Align in the quotient. Add 0 here. Bring down that 0. So, our new dividend is 20. So, 20 divided by 3 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. Subtract 20 minus 18, the answer is 2. So, napansin ninyo, 2 na naman siya. So, pag tinuloy natin, we add 0 here. We bring down that 0. 20 ulit. Divide by 3. 6 na naman. So, ibig sabihin, uulit lang ng uulit yung ating quotient. So, what does it mean? 2/3 is the equivalent fraction of 0.6 repeating decimal. So, yan po yung ating case 1. So, how about kung meron tayong 2 digits na nagre-repeat? Now, let's have an example of a repeating decimal na mayroong 2 digits na nagre-repeat. Okay, let's take this. Suppose we have 0.12, 12, 12, and so on and so forth. So, kung mapapansin ninyo, ang ating repeating digits, 12, 12, 12. So, 2 ang ating repeating digits. So, ganun pa rin. Rewrite natin yan using vinculum. So, that can be written as 0.12. And, we have the vinculum. So, sa vinculum, 2 sila dapat. Kasi ang repeating digits natin, 1 and 2. So, how are we going to express it as a fraction? So, we'll have our numerator, just like what we did in the previous examples. Ang pinaka-numerator nyo, yung repeating digits. So, 12. So, therefore, we have here 12. At this point, 2 ang repeating digits natin. So, therefore, ang pinaka-denominator natin is 99. So, nakuha nyo po yung tricks. Pag isa lang ang repeating digit, kanina, ang denominator is 9 only. Pero, if we have 2 digits repeated, our denominator is 99. Okay. So, 12 over 99. So, but 12 over 99 still can be reduced to lowest term. So, let us reduce it to lowest term. So, what is the GCF of 12 and 99? That is 3. So, divide natin by 3. 12 will become 4. And 99 will become 33. So, again, paano nakuha si 4 over 33? Divide si 12 by 3, the answer is 4. Divide si 99 by 3, the answer is 33. Now, let's check if this 4 over 33 is equivalent to 0.12, 12, 12, and so on and so forth. Okay, just like what we did in the previous examples, we will divide the numerator by the denominator. So, we'll have here 4 divided by 33. Okay, and since 4 is smaller than 33, so our initial quotient is 0. Then 0 times 33 is 0. Subtract 4 minus 0 is 4. Continue dividing, add decimal point here, align in the quotient. Add 0, bring down that 0. So 40 divided by 33, the answer is 1. Okay. So 1 times 33 is 33. Subtract 40 minus 33, the answer is 7. Okay. Continue dividing, add 0 here, bring down that 0. So 70 divided by 33, that is 2. 2 times 33, that is 66. Subtract, okay? So 70 minus 66, the answer is 4. So, kung mapapansin ninyo, bumalik tayo sa 4. Right? So, anong ibig sabihin? If we will continue dividing, dadagdag tayo ng 0 dito, mag-a-add tayo ng 0. So, 40 na naman siya. So, ang magiging quotient naman natin uli is 1. Okay? Pag itinuloy nyo lang yan, so 1 times 33 is 33 minus, or sinubtract natin, the answer is 7. And then, babalik tayo sa 70. So, ibig sabihin, uulit lang yan sa 1, 2, 1, 2, and so on and so forth. So, ibig sabihin, 4 over 33 is the equivalent fraction of 0.12, 12, 12 as repeating decimal. So, yan po yung ating shortcut for case number 1. without non-repeated. Ulitin natin, pag sinabing without non-repeated, lahat ng digits natin nagre-repeat. Okay, now let's have case number 2. But before I give you examples on this case, summarize muna natin yung solutions natin kanina in case number 1. Yung case number 1 natin, ulitin ko po, lahat ng digits nagre-repeat. Kaya without non-repeated. So, paano ba natin expression as fraction? So, pinaka-numerator, yung mismong repeating digit. At ang denominator is 9 kung isang repeating digit. Pag dalawa ang repeating digits, anong denominator? 99. So, alam niyo na po, kapag katatlong digits ang nagre-repeat. So, what will be the denominator? 999. So, yun po yung tricks natin in case number 1. Now, let's have an example for this case number 2. Itong case number 2 po, with non-repeated. Ibig sabihin, mayroong digit na hindi nagre-repeat. Okay, let's have an example. Suppose we have here 0.8333 and so on and so forth. So, kung mapapansin nyo sa ating example, yung 8 is non-repeated. Hindi siya ang nagre-repeat. Ang nagre-repeat lang is yung 3. Siya lang yung uulit-ulit. So, 8 is considered non-repeated and the only repeating digit is 3. So, ganun pa din. I-rewrite natin ito using the vinculum. So, we have 0.83 and only 3 has the vinculum. Hindi nyo isasama yung 8 kasi si 8 hindi naman siya repeating digit. So, yung 3 lang ang lalagyan nyo ng vinculum. So, now, paano natin ito express as fraction? So, ganun pa din, we'll have the numerator and denominator. Pero, hindi kagaya nung tricks kanina na mabilis lang. Ito, medyo magko-compute tayo. So, paano ba? Okay, first, sa numerator tayo. Ang pinaka-numerator nyo, yung buong number, 83. So, 83 isusubtract yan, so minus yung hindi nagre-repeat, the non-repeated digit. So, 8. So, 83 minus 8. Ulitin natin. Paano makukuha yung numerator? Yung buong number, 83, minus non-repeated, yung hindi nagre-repeat, 8. How about the denominator? So, ang denominator ay place value ang pag-uusapan natin. So, paano ba yon? Place value nito ay tenths. Di ba pag decimal, nag-start tayo tenths, hundreds, and so on. Thousands, 10,000s. Okay? So, but since ito, ang pinaka last digit natin is 3, which hundreds. So, 100 minus yung place value ng hindi nagre-repeat, ng non-repeated, which is tenths. Therefore, 100 minus 10. So, yan ang pagkuha ng denominator. So, ulit, paano nakuha itong denominator? Place value nung repeated, hundreds, so 100, minus place value nito, tenths, 10. So, let's simplify this. 83 minus 8, that is 75. Over 100 minus 10 is 90. Okay, so 75 over 90 is not yet our final fraction because it still can be reduced to lowest term. So, i-reduce natin siya sa lowest term. Kung makikita niyo, pareha sila divisible by 5. Pero yung 5 is not the GCF. Mas maganda GCF na kaagad ang i-divide niyo. So, ang GCF natin, ng 75 and 90 is 15. GCF is the greatest common factor. So, 75 divided by 15, the answer is 5. Because 5 times 15 is 75. And 90 divided by 15 is 6. 6 times 15 is 90. And this 5 over 6 will be our final fraction in lowest term. Okay, we can check this. Again, just like what we did in our previous examples. I-divide lang natin si 5 by 6. So, let's have the checking. So, 5 divided by, okay, 5 divided by 6. Since 5 is smaller than 6, so that is 0, initial quotient. Decimal point here, another decimal point here. Align. So, but you multiply first 0 times 6, that is 0. Subtract, that is 5, minus 0 is 5. So, add 0 here, and bring down that 0. So, new dividend natin is 50. So, 50 divided by 6, that is 8. And then 8 times 6 is 48. Subtract, 50 minus 48 is 2. So, continue dividing. Add 0 here. Bring down that 0. So, 20 divided by 6 is 3. 3 times 6 is 18. Okay, subtract 20 minus 18. The answer is 2. Ano napansin nyo? Bumalik tayo sa remainder na 2. So, if we will continue the process, add 0 dito, bring down that 0. So, 20 divide ulit by 6, 3 na naman siya. So, pag tinuloy ninyo, makukuha nyo na namang remainder 2. So, what does it mean? Uulit-ulit lang si 3. Okay? So, that means si 5 over 6 is the equivalent fraction of this repeating decimal. Okay, let's have more examples. Suppose we have here 0.8, 23, 23, 23. Ano pong napapansin nyo sa example natin? Ang ating repeating digits, 23, 23, 23. And 8 is a non-repeating. So, ganun pa din. I-write natin yan using the vinculum. So, we'll have 0.8 and we have here 23 and only 23 has the vinculum kasi isa lang yung nagre-repeat, yung 23. Okay, so paano natin to express as fraction? So just like what we did in our previous example, meron tayong numerator. So ito, ang pinaka-numerator natin, yung buong number, so 823, okay, minus the non-repeated, yung hindi nagre-repeat, which is 8. So, ulitin natin. Paano nakuha ito? So, yung buong number, 823 minus 8, which is the non-repeated. That's the numerator. How about the denominator? So, place values. So, ang pinaka last place value nyo is tens, hundreds, thousands. So, last place value is thousands. Therefore, we have 1,000 minus the place value noong hindi nag-repeat, which is 8, tenths. Therefore, minus 10. Okay, ulit, paano natin nakuha yung 1,000 minus 10? So, place value nung huling digit, which is thousands, minus the place value nitong ating non-repeated, 10. So, let's simplify it. So, 823 minus 8, ang sagot ay 815. Over 1,000 minus 10, the answer is 990. So, yan yung ating fraction equivalent. But, as you will observe, pwede pa siyang ma-reduce sa lowest term. So, I think ang common factor lang is 5. So, i-divide natin by 5 si 815. Ang magiging sagot ay 163. Over 990 divided by 5, ang sagot ay 198. And this will be our final fraction. So ngayon, pwede nyo pong i-check ito, kagaya ng ginagawa natin kanina. I-divide niyo si 163 by 198. So kung may calculator kayo dyan, pwede nyo i-check. And tingnan ninyo if the equivalent decimal of this is 0.8232323 as repeating decimal. Okay, let's have one last example. Suppose we have here 0. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5. Okay, obserbahan natin yung given. Ano lang ang repeating digit natin? So, From the given, mapapansin nyo, 5 lang ang nagre-repeat. So, si 34 ay non-repeated, 2 digits. Okay, so first, i-rewrite muna natin siya using the vinculum. So, we have 0.34, 5, and 5 has the vinculum. Only 5, kasi siya lang yung nagre-repeat. Si 34 ay walang vinculum. So, express natin as fraction. So, ano ang ating tricks? Anong shortcut natin? Sa numerator, yung buong number, so this one, 345. So, 345, ima-minus natin, or isusubtract, yung hindi nagre-repeat na digits, which is 34. Okay, ulit. Sa numerator, 345 minus 34. How about for the denominator? Ano ulit ang rule natin? Anong shortcut natin? Place value nung dulo. Anong place value nito? So, tens, hundred, thousands. So, therefore, 1,000 minus place value nung non-repeated. Ang non-repeated natin ay 34. Anong pinakahuling place value? Hundreds. Tens, hundreds. Therefore, minus 100. Dalawa kasi. So, pag isa lang kanina, minus 10 lang. Okay? So, let's simplify. 345 minus 34, ang sagot ay 311 over 1,000 minus 100. Ang sagot ay 900. And I think si 311 at 900 is already in the lowest term kasi they are already relatively primes. The only GCF is 1. So, meaning, that will be our final fraction. So, pwede nyo pong i-check yan. I-divide niyo si 311 by 900 and see if you will get this. And I assure you, ito po ang equivalent decimal niya. So, maraming salamat po sa mga nanonood at sana ay may natutunan kayo sa aking shinare na technique sa pag-express ng repeating decimal as fraction. So, sana patuloy po kayong manood ng mga videos ko at huwag niyo pong kakalimutan mag-subscribe sa aking channel, Sir Mathlon. Muli, maraming salamat po.